Hello, this is Bianca Westwood from Gillette Soccer Saturday on Sky Sports, and you are listening to the V2 Football Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another V2 Big Interview brought to you by v2football.com. I'm Chris Lappin and I'm delighted to be joined on the line by Matt Hamshaw. How you doing this evening, Matt?
Hi, good evening. How are you? You alright?
Yeah, I'm brilliant, thanks. Yeah,
good stuff.
So, firstly, how did you get into the game?
Into football, you mean?
Yeah.
Basically, from a young age, I suppose, like any young boy wanting to play football. I just played, to be honest, in the back garden. I didn't really get into grassroots football playing for a team until about 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
When one of my best friends invited me to come down and play with his team, and just really enjoyed it. And obviously, manager signed me for his team, and then come at 15, so now playing for England. So it was quite a quick shot in terms of getting up ladder. But even at that point, I didn't realise you could actually do it full time for a job. As a professional, it was just a case just loving football and playing every day and wanting to be best you could be, really.
So did you play it? Was it the Shield? Was it called? I can't remember.
Yeah, in Victory Shield. Played for just a local team called Rotherham St Joseph's.
Yeah. And
had quite a bit of interest locally. Rotherham United, Sheffield Wednesday, who I obviously ended up signing. Where I went to Man United, Wolverhampton Wanderers. So went kind of around on trial, and then got offered a contract at, the same contract at Man United as at Sheffield Wednesday. And ended up going to Sheffield Wednesday. A couple of reasons for that, really. One, the fact that I were a bit of a local boy and liked being at home with my family. Mm-hmm. But other side of that, I just thought, fingers crossed, there might be more opportunity for me to get into the first team quicker there.
Yeah. So how were you actually spotted by Wednesday?
Just playing locally really.
Yeah.
As I say, local scenes kind of changed a little bit now. I think kids get into academy systems really, really early. Obviously, being an academy coach now myself, we have recruitment everywhere really now. So a lot of younger players now are getting snapped up early, whereas like when I were coming through, don't really get picked up, and a lot of lads could play for the school and play for the county and play for the district and play for grassroots, and a lot of your scouts were at those games watching, and obviously word gets around, but then you ended up with like 20, 30 scouts at the side of the pitch watching you, so that's how I got picked up.
And how did you find out you're making your first team debut for Wednesday?
How did I find out?
Yeah.
Basically, Paul Jewell, manager, and he pulled me in on the Friday and just said, look, I'll be playing tomorrow, but just keep it quiet, don't tell anybody. So, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I didn't really sleep much that night, but we had a double header away at Grimsby on Saturday and then home against Blackburn on Sky on the Monday night. So I remember debut, we won at Grimsby 1-0, which was just unbelievable. You just can't kind of describe that, what a good feeling it is. You know, you strive for it so long. We managed to win, so I kept my place in the team. Which obviously, looking back on now, you just think you're going to be starting every week. Yeah. And then played on the Monday night. But then after the game finished, I went away with England to Israel for a week. So it kind of a bit of a whirlwind start. Never really got a chance until a couple of weeks after really actually sit down and kind of think about what I'd achieved. It was kind of like one game to next, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
How often do you get stopped by Sheffield Wednesday fans who want to talk about that goal against Watford?
Well, it's usually me talking about it. No, I think it's well remembered by a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans, and that's kind of first thing anybody says to me. Certainly, who is old enough to remember me. Obviously, younger kids won't. But yeah, that's first thing. They do bring up the Watford goal, which obviously is nice. You know, it's nice that you're remembered for something that you've done well, and it was a great feeling. And again, I think as a football player, sometimes you don't really take in what you've done while you're doing it, if you know what I mean. But it's not till later on when you've retired, and obviously now I'm coaching kids and full time in football, that you actually realise, you know, it weren't bad that.
I'll put a video in the article so people can see it if they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But it is an amazing goal. How much of an influence was Chris Waddle on your young career?
Massive. massive. I were really lucky, to be honest. We had Charlie Williamson, Ricky Hill, Chris Waddle. People who really could play the game, and not only that, we had a lot of good young pros and good young lads around us. Alan Quinn, Lee Bromby, Del Geary, Steve Aslam. There were a little group of us who come through together. So the standard in training were immense, to be honest. It was probably the best learning environment I've ever been in. And it's something that obviously now being a coach, I try and get that in my sessions if you can, because I just think when you get experienced, ex-players who know what they're on about, and you combine that with players who are young and hungry and enthusiastic, I just think it just creates a great environment. And around that time, obviously Chris Waddle he's worldwide known, not just nationally known.
Yeah.
He was best player in training every day, even when he'd retired. The ability he had, that he'd take me to one side and tell me areas I need to focus on, do some individual work with me, and you can't buy that. That's when you've got obviously a world class player, which he was in his time. Working with you individually, everything he says is just like gold dust, to be honest.
What about the likes of Di Canio and Carboni?
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough obviously to train with them and around them. I played in odd first team non-competitive game with them, but never in a competitive game.
Yeah.
But they were just unbelievable technically, tactically. But one thing that people don't mention as much, because I know obviously people say about them being temperamental, but they're only temperamental because they wanted to win.
Yeah.
There were nobody who trained harder than them two, morning, afternoon, night. They'd be out with first team, then they'd be out doing shooting, then they'd be out with young kids. And literally, manager were dragging them in every day, to rest up for match day. And that side that people don't see, people just see, oh, well, he gets space on me easily, but it's just that desire to be best that can be. And, certainly for me as a young player, looking overseeing that, they were two of the best players in first team at that time, and you just thought, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And again, that just inspired you to try and get where they were and work as hard as you can to achieve the best that you can for yourself, really.
Yeah, so then you had spells with Stockport and Mansfield before you moved to Notts County. Whilst you're at Notts County, the Middle Eastern consortium took over the club. What was the buzz around the club at that time when they first took over?
Oh, it was madness. It was just crazy. We were getting more Sky Sports News coverage than Man United and Liverpool, and because we had Sven-Goran Eriksson, obviously Sol Campbell Cup. We signed Kasper Schmeichel, obviously everybody knows Kasper now, but back then he were at Man City and had played in Premier League. You talk about players where we had Matt Ritchie, Johnny Jackson at Charlton now. You look back and it's no wonder we won league. We squad of players we had, but it was just amazing to be part of. But it was worrying as well, because obviously there were a lot of financial difficulty. I can't speak highly enough of Sven-Goran Eriksson for hanging around and making sure that all us as players got paid, because look, none of us were millionaires at that point, and we all had family and kids, and he hung around. He could have easily taken off, and like a few others did, to be honest, and he stuck around and made sure that we had investors till end of season, and then when season end come, we'd all had his wages paid. He took off, so you can't really speak high enough of him. I know obviously from inside he didn't have massive input in terms of the football. He gives you the odd word, but he never really took trainer or anything, but he was always there and he was always around, and he was, as again, you can't really speak high enough of the man in terms of, that point in time. We could have easily not got paid or not had his wages, and, then, it's the other side of it, not paying your mortgage and etc. So, I can't really speak high enough of him.
Was there a real true belief amongst the fans that the club would quickly get to the Premier League?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think us as a group of players had a bit of a laugh and joke about it. And then when you start seeing like Kasper Schmeichel walk through, Lee Hughes walk through the door, I've just said Matt Ritchie, Johnny Jackson, and then we all had a bit of a laugh and a joke, and I told the story about Sol Campbell coming in and won at Craig Westcar and said if we ever signed Sol Campbell, he'd eat something that obviously you can imagine. And then next morning, Sol Campbell come in.
He only played one game, didn't he?
He played one game, but even to attract somebody like that, you thought, Jesus, club must be serious.
Yeah.
He won't be coming here to play in League Two and just be happy to sit in mid-table, So, and in the end, that was the case. He saw that there were that it were all kind of broken promises, and he got himself out of there. But to attract them types of players, and again, I just spoke about Sven, but it's been easy for people like Casper to leave and etc. But you look now at their careers, and I'm sure they'll be the first one to say how important it was in terms of the learning experience for them and seeing other side. A lot of players now don't see what it's like to play for the mortgage or play because if they don't win or they're not in team or they don't get the contract renewed, that they might have to sell their house or little things. It's not all. I think people say footballs and say that everybody's millionaires, etc. But certainly lower down levels, that is not the case.
No. Alright, so you spent some time at Macclesfield before you joined the academy at your hometown club Rotherham. Was going into coaching always the plan? Or?
Yeah. I while I were at Notts County, I started coaching at Rotherham.
Yeah.
As a part-time under 14s coach, I think it was. And again, I'm quite lucky really that I've probably had now 8-9 years of coaching. And I always said I wanted to do that myself. I didn't want to be one of these expos who come out of a game and think, what am I going to do? I'll be a coach. I wanted to make sure I got experience. So as I come out of the game, it kind of led me straight into coaching. And luckily enough, an opportunity come up at Rotherham to work full-time when I was still kind of flicking a coin as to whether to carry on playing or move on to coaching. But I'm quite lucky. My wife and children are happy in the area. My wife's a school teacher, so it kind of led me into coaching. But it were always something that I was going to do anyway, and it just set me off in good stead, really. Doing that 4 or 5 years before I had retired to really kind of practice and see and just see how hard these guys work. Again, I'm here because of numerous people. I'm not. I ain't had a career because you've got talent, but obviously numerous people have input. And when you go and see how hard these coaches are working, and certainly now I see it, the players have kind of got the easy bit. And it's something you take for granted. Certainly when I would play, I just worry about myself getting in on time, training, eating right things, coming home. Whereas coaches there before you, there after you, sorting everything out. They're like father figures. They give you advice. They tell you off when you need telling off. They have to plan. They have to evaluate. They have to assess every day. It really is a tough job. And as I say, it always interested me. But I was lucky enough as I was playing to still be doing it. And that'd be my advice to anybody really. Anybody who's seriously about coaching, they really need to get into it while they're playing, because I think it's twofold. I think it helps your game out, but it also gives you that experience for when you have packed in, because you see the other side of the game, which I think has been very invaluable, certainly in my coaching career so far.
So, what are your previous managers do you try and base your coaching style on?
I think a little bit of everything. I think it's important you have to be yourself first and foremost, and you pick tips up. I'm quite positive. I know what I want, which I think is an important trait as a manager or a coach. I think you have to understand that it's important that you implement what you want, but then you have to have a kind of freedom to let players express themselves and enjoy it, because that's what it's about, the game. That's why people watch it and love it, because they enjoy it. And I think that has to come across to the players. It's not all, work. You have to work as hard as you can, but for me, if you're enjoying it, it just makes it easier, more enjoyable, and you allow yourself to be creative. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not outside sometimes shouting at players, which is a player sometimes you don't like, but you just wanting to correct that player. I think sometimes it can come across as you're falling out with somebody when actually you're just trying to give technical or tactical detail to a player. So I think I've picked things up of all of them. Obviously, I'm lucky that I've played under and even with now, you're looking at game now like Paul Leckinbottom has gone and done a great job at Barnes and Lee Bull, and doing a fantastic job at Sheffield Wednesday, and you're playing with people and who have actually gone on, and I just think you kind of learn and speak to people and what you've experienced and what others have experienced and what you've heard, and it kind of all comes together. And that's why I said I think earlier into it as a coach, it just opened your eyes right, this is where I want to play. But if you ain't got players who want to play that way, then you can't play that way. So it's important to kind of put over what you want without kind of forcing it on players too much, and let them kind of find a way to it.
So at the academy, what's the balance between ex-pros and coaches who never played the game?
We've got an equal balance, to be honest with you. And both sides give different opinions, but both valid. Listen, the game's full of opinions, and everybody's right to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But all I ask for is a reason. I think if people make a statement, then they should just back that up with a reason for doing it. And certainly the courses that I've done courses where it's been all ex-pros, and I've done courses where it's been grassroots. And again, that's all added to what I've got now as a coach. What you hear from different people and opinions that people have, you can't please everybody, but I think it makes you think and reflect. And I think as a coach, that's important, having that opinion from both sides. And there's things I've seen as a player that I might not have seen had I not been, and vice versa. Things that coaches who have not played the game see and think, well, yeah, he's right with that. And again, I think if people have got a reason, you can sit down and go through it, and you don't just cut people off, because that's the last thing you need to do. And it's a game that people are passionate about and people love, and I can see why people do fall out at times, because as full-time staff, sometimes you have to make decisions that they might have not done, but as long as you can explain the logic and the reasoning for doing that, then it tends to be that people are respectful and trust you, and they can move on.
Do the coaches at the academy specialise in a particular age group, or do you move up with a set of players?
No, we move round. We do have kind of coaches who we put in specific age spans, so from like 14 to 16, 12 to 14, 9 to 11. But will then move around, because we just see it at Rotherham as it's an opportunity for coaches to get to know the players. It's an opportunity for us as coaches to sit down at end at night and get different opinions on players. It's important that they're hearing different voices. The coaches are still working under our philosophy and our syllabus, but they're putting over their different opinions on it, which again opens players' eyes up. It makes the thinking, and that's all you're trying to do. These young players, all you want them to do is think about the game. And yeah, they're going to make mistakes. Of course they are. They'll make mistakes every training session, but if they can understand why they've made the mistake or what they do differently next time and answer their own question, then for me, what a learning environment that is.
So being a Yorkshire club with so many big clubs in the area, how hard is it to recruit players within your catchment area?
Well, when I first come into this job 4 years ago, full-time, it was really difficult.
Yeah.
But I just think once you provide a platform for people to go on from, and you get a kind of a name for yourself as a football club, and people see from the outside, and that word gets around quickly that you're kind of doing a good job, then it's a lot easier to recruit. Of course it is, and that's also helped by the club being successful. So we were in League 2 when I got the job. Now we're in the Championship. So you get a different player. You get, for example, they're always like a kind of ladder. So if people talk about these categories now, which I can't stand, that a Category 1 player might now come to a Category 3 club who's in Championship, whereas before, if a Category 3 club were in League 2, they might not have come out. And again, this is a big issue I think we have in England, that the fact that these players now see themselves as being better than that, instead of going out and playing games. And like I just touched upon earlier with Kasper Schmeichel and Matt Ritchie and Johnny Jackson and people like that, who, they started at a big club, had to drop down leagues. Now look at them, and their careers might not have had that had they not gone to League 2 and seen and really realised, look, I want to be playing at this level, and with no disrespect to these players, I need to be playing and learning game, and then it makes me achieve, rather than being at a Premier League Cat 1 club sitting on the bench picking up this money, not really playing. You get your opportunity, you're not really ready for it. You go out at leagues, and then League 2 clubs won't take you because, I've been on this, I've been on that, I've done this, I've done that. But they haven't really done anything, except for they've been at a Premier League club. And I think some of that has been seen, certainly, you look at England squads now, people saying about how pampered they are, etc., etc. Then you know, it's kind of a bit of a snowball effect because these kids are getting a hell of a lot at a young age, and that ain't financially. I'm talking about coaching. I'm talking about the gear they get, the facilities they get to train in. It almost becomes a normality, rather than growing up, you know, training on the park pitch and then, for example, going up to a Premier League Cat 1 club's pitches that are absolute bowling greens, and they appreciate every day where they are, not take it for granted. I think that's a massive thing in football.
Does Rotherham find itself losing its best products before they even reach the first team sometimes?
Odd time, yeah.
Yeah.
Odd time that will happen, but that we see that as success.
Yeah.
If we bring a lad in and we work with him and somebody wants to come in and pay us money for him at a young age, then who are we to stop? Yeah, we might think it's in his best interest to stay with us, but at the end of the day, we have to do what's best for the lad, what's best for the club, what's best for parents. And we're not a club who will sit there and say, right, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, we're not going to let our best players leave. Because, end of the day, that's football.
Yeah.
They could get in our first team, and yeah, you don't want to sell them for whatever because they're your top goal scorer, but you know that it's going to happen eventually. And we just see it the same with youth football. Yeah, of course, we want every one of our young players to come through and be pros at Rotherham and go and play 500 games, but realistically, start to tell you that ain't going to happen. So you have to kind of, you know, see what you've got, try and move forward with it. But if we're lucky enough and we see that clubs are coming in, then again it sends repercussions around the area that Rotherham are doing a good job to develop this player, and now he's gone to a Man City or he's gone to a Man United or he's gone to an Arsenal or whoever it may be. You know, it's it kind of works for you as well as obviously selfishly against you by the fact that you're arguably losing one of your better players in your academy.
So how connected is the club and the academy to grassroots?
Oh, massively, yeah. Massively. We, Gareth Barker, academy manager, and myself, that was something that we identified as we want to get better links, so we started working on community coaches clubs where we invite coaches in and try and make them better to make their players better. That then is twofold. One, coaches are getting better, so players are getting better coaches in area, and we're giving a bit back. But secondly, then they might get a connection with us, and they can ring us if they see a player, etc. Or we'll invite their team in, which we do numerous. We play against grassroots teams, so it's not a case of, look, we're Rotherham United and we're going to come and nitpick your best players. We want to give these young players an experience. Look, bring all your team in.
Yeah.
And we might say to them, look, we're going to play younger age groups with some more fairer game or whatever. We work with them with that way. Obviously, at the end of the season, you know, we give us kits away to them, footballs, court. Now, little things that you can do. Listen, we can't throw tons and tons of money at them.
Yeah.
But the little things that we can do, then we do try and help out as much as they can, because we're a community club. We want local players to come through, and you just want to be, again, you want to be well respected in the area, but you want people to say, yeah, that's the club I want to go to. And look, we might get lads here who don't sign for us and go somewhere else, but I like them lads to say, you know what, I enjoyed it at Rotherham, and that's what all we can do. You know, we offer what we offer. It's a championship football club, and we believe that you'll get an opportunity to get in our first team, you know, probably earlier than you might do at another club. But we understand that some lads will see the training grounds, see etc., see contracts, and that'll always happen in the game.
So let's look into next season. With Sheffield Wednesday getting to the playoff final last season, how do you think they'll do this season?
Oh, it's a ultra competitive league, isn't it? You know, and I think you could be on the phone here and say, yeah, I think they'll do really well. But then you could also say, well, you know, there's the Villas, I think something like, 20 teams have been in Premier League or something, Championship.
Yeah.
This year. It's just frightening. Some massive clubs who would not look out of place at all in the Premier League. Your Derbys, your Forests, you know, your Blackburns. And these are teams that have kind of got forgotten about because people are talking about Newcastle's and Villas. You know, you got Brighton who got to play us, ain't even anybody mentioned them.
No.
And they were looked like automatic promotion for majority of the season. So that just says how tough this thing's going to be.
They lost out on goal.
They
lost out on goal difference, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, lost out on goal difference. I'm sure you're like me. You haven't heard one pundit or ex-professional mention them in any interview you've seen.
No.
It just all seems to be about Villa, Newcastle. Obviously, I've heard Sheffield Wednesday mentioned now and then. But this owner's come in and he's kind of brought belief back to the club, hasn't he? And investment, and they've signed Fletcher.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a big player for him. But then you look at Newcastle, who signed Dwight Gale and Matt Ritchie, and it's frightening. You've got, I've just been saying, Saturday we won at Neighbours, and we've just been saying like Wijnaldum and Sissoko, they're talking 27 million, 35 million.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've played in Euros, but at the end of the day, the Championship football players at the moment, it's quite phenomenal, really, the league. And it won't surprise you if an outsider come up. I don't know, I won't really want to throw a club at you, but your Huddersfields or your Blackburns or one of them I've mentioned who people aren't really talking about. I just think it's going to be an ultra competitive league, but I think it'll just be a team who has that momentum. I think whoever starts quick tends to be up there majority of the season. I think that's going to be what most clubs are aiming for. And, Rotherham will be no different. We'll want to try and get results as quick as we can. And you never know, do you? I think the good thing that Leicester, what happened to Leicester last year, is give everybody belief. I think sometimes it was a case of, right, well, that's going to be a top five, and all they'll fight, and then we'll have as bottom five. But I just think what happened at Leicester City is kind of other clubs have looked, and fans have certainly looked, which again increases expectation, but it makes you kind of believe a little bit more. Well, Leicester won Premier League. Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And I think there'll always be that expectancy, and it's that time of year where clubs are looking forward to the season starting.
Do you also think about Notts County? Can they be a force this season under John Sheridan with all the new signers they've brought in?
Yeah, I think so. John's been proven at in the leagues, and certainly going in there, he'll have them organised. He signed some good players. I'd expect them to have a good season. But again, you look in that league, it's just so tough.
Yeah.
And again, it'll be a momentum thing. I think whoever starts off well and gets results early, and that'll be their aim. But I think it's a good appointment for him, and I do expect him to do well this season. It's a massive club that shouldn't probably be in League Two, but it is. And certainly if they start doing well, I experienced it there when we won the league. The crowds come out and really get behind you, and it's a great place to play football when you're winning football matches. And like I say, I wish all my old clubs all the best, but kind of Notts County had a special place in my heart when I was there. I really enjoyed it. I got player of the season the first season there. I got promoted second season. Disappointed I got let go, but again, that happens in football, as I've just said. And I really do wish them a good season and hope that they can return back to League One and even higher than that in future.
So before we go, do you want to plug your social media?
Can do, yeah. I'm on Twitter, aren't I? I don't know what my Twitter address is though, so you'll have to put that on there.
I'll put it in the description. I've got it here.
Yeah.
That's Hamshaw.
Yeah, there you go. Should know that, shouldn't I, really?
Right, so I've really enjoyed speaking here today. I'd love you to come on.
Thanks for ringing.
Coming on our Football League show maybe in the future.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just give me a ring and let me know.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on.
All right. Cheers. Thank you.